Hello and welcome back for another Timeless video. Today we're going to be playing this updated mono blue show and tell deck. The updates come in the form of adding 4 copies of Force of Will to the deck, and in order to slot these in, we shaved the 4 copies of Stifle, so it was a pretty clean swap. Then as a reminder for the rest of the deck, we have a few cantrips in the form of Brainstorm and Ponder. We're only playing 2 Brainstorm since we don't have fetch lands, so there's only a few ways we can shuffle our deck, and we don't really want to get Brainstorm locked, but it is a good way to see new cards, especially if we have Omniscience in play. Then for additional card selection, we have 4 copies of Stock Up that we can play in the early game to dig for our combo pieces, and 2 copies of Dig Through Time, which is great with the Omniscience to continue comboing. Moving on to our protection spells, we have 4 copies of Mana Drain, really useful to advance our mana the turn after countering something, allowing us to play things like cheap Stock Ups or Lorien Revealeds, and then the Force of Will that we already talked about. For the combo, we're playing a very clean version. We just have the show and tell that we're going to be looking to use with either Atraxa, refueling our hand, and putting a very annoying threat into play, or the Omniscience itself. And then with cantrips and card draw we have in the deck, we're going to be looking to dig and eventually find our Fae of Wishes, which we can use the granted ability to grab a card from our sideboard. The sideboard plan here is simple. We're just going to grab a Mastermind's acquisition, which we can use to grab a second acquisition. And then from there, Bond of Insight will return both of them to our hands, and we can grab the second Sun from our sideboard and cast it twice to win the game. When it comes to the mana base, we're playing quite a bit of Acceleration, full play set of Ancient Tombs and Chrome Mox, and then we have some MDFCs in the form of Sink into Stupor and Seagate Restoration. Both can be pitched to the Chrome Mox or to Force of Will, and then if we have Omniscience into play, they can be useful at protecting our cards as well, giving interactions such as Show and Tell and Omniscience, and then our opponent has something like a Static Prison, and we can immediately Sink into Stupor the Prison and keep our Omniscience into play. So can be very useful in protecting on our combo turn. And then lastly here, counted in the land column is Lorien Revealed, because oftentimes we're going to be cycling this for an island in the early game. And then again, once we're comboing off, it's just going to be a draw 3. As a whole, the deck is very synergistic, has good protection for our combo and interaction for what our opponent's doing. And with all the cantrips, it is fairly consistent at putting together the combo pieces. That being said, I don't know if 4 Force of Will is enough for the new format, but that's something we'll have to find out as we play the games. So without further ado, let's get into it. This hand isn't bad, we'll keep. Start on the island, try to ponder. While this is fine, it doesn't really help progress our game plan any. So I think we're going to shuffle. And there's show and tell. Means we have an unprotected send next turn. Most likely up against energy. Don't have a good way to play around what they put in here. No instant speed. I think we have to try it anyway. Just hope they don't have the Static Prison. Felia, so this is a win here. Use Fae of Wishes. And our opponent concedes. On to the next. This is a similar hand to last time, although I think with the addition of Force, it might even be a little bit better. We'll keep. And then I think we're going to end up bolting ourselves here, trying to ponder. It's got some lands. Nowhere to really go from there. We could shuffle with Lorien. I think we'll shuffle here though. Wow. Similar to last game, we ended up top decking the show and tell there. So very lucky on our side. We'll pass the turn. Up against an aggro deck. And Ancient Tomb is also a great pickup. Means that we can keep the Seagate Restoration in hand. And unlike last time, we have dig through time to play at instant speed if our opponent tries to remove Omniscience. So this is just going to be game over. Dig through time is card positive, so we'll play that first. Then we can Atraxa, and I imagine our opponent just concedes here. There it is. Pretty easy victory. I don't imagine all of our wins will be as easy as the last two. And here is a great example. Looks like we're up against combo based on the mulligans. Start on a Chrome Mox. Imprint Sink into Stupor. Play out the island, pass the turn. It's oops all spells. So we can let the Dark Ritual resolve. Can let this resolve. Then we'll just counter this. And there's the concession. So that was actually 3 easy ones in a row. Alright, let's see if we can keep the streak going. This hand has half of our combo in it, so we'll keep. Force of Will for protection against the early combo deck. Mountain and Kellen, I think we just let that resolve. Start with the Ponder. And then there's our Omniscience. And we don't mind the lands either. We'll take the blue one on top in our hand. Could be a 4th easy win in a row here. Don't expect much interaction from the red deck. And we should have enough cantrips in our hand to combo off. Play out Ancient Tomb, Show and Tell. Put in Omniscience. Our opponent doesn't put anything in. We'll start drawing cards, and they're holding full control, being a bit salty. There's the concession. So this deck is killing it today. This hand looks pretty good as well. Question is, do we imprint something on turn 1 to Chrome Mox so that we can hold up Mana Drain? Or do we just hold up Force of Will? I think we are going to try Chrome Mox here. Pass the turn. Reason we did this is if our opponent has a 3 mana spell they cast this turn, we should be able to cast Lorien next turn to try and refuel our hand. Up against the land strategy. Don't think we can counter the Chrome Mox, unfortunately. It's a Faithless Looting. So is this Woodlands combo? Well, this we just can't let resolve. That is enough to Lorien off of. I think that's what we do. Shields are down. Black, red, green, and Thoughtseize. Probably takes the Ponder, although Lorien Revealed is also hard castable. Imprint another Looting, and then a Ravager. So our opponent appears to just be on a Madness deck. We'll draw 3 more. Now we have something to put in off Show and Tell. They get a Root Wallet. I think Atraxa should be enough to win this one on its own. I haven't seen any removal spells yet from our opponent. Just discard. They shouldn't be able to get through on the ground, I don't think. So we'll start with the show and tell. I'm just going to tutor up something to put into play. Don't know if they're playing any large creatures in their deck. Wouldn't be bad to play one of them as a counter to this scenario. See if they grab an enchantment destruction creature as well. That's also not unreasonable to have in your deck. But they just go for another Ravager. Okay, so what do we want here? Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we found another show and tell. We do want Omniscience. Probably an Ancient Tomb for a land. Instant. Can take Force of Will. And then Seagate Restoration is something to pitch. We'll lead on the Ponder here, I suppose. See if we can find our third copy of Show and Tell. And we do. So this should just be game over. Play out another Atraxa. We'll take everything here. How many cards left? 35. Just use the Seagate. And there's Fae of Wishes. So we'll execute our sideboard combo. This will get back both of the Mastermind's acquisitions. Then we can just grab our sideboard copy of Second Sun. And then we can either grab the one out of the sideboard or the one out of the deck here. Good game. This hand has a lot of counter spells, but not much else going for it. It's going to be a mulligan. Here, we have some of our combo. I think we'll keep it, and then I think we put back Fae of Wishes. If we draw into a Atraxa and use Show and Tell for that, it won't be very useful. And I think we'd rather have the forces in hand, which we might have to use early. And then do we use it with the other Force of Will, the Brainstorm? I think we have to pitch Force. Our hand's pretty bad and needs some help. Although Atraxa will do just that. Let that resolve. Go grab an island. Then we can attempt Show and Tell. I expect this gets removed, but we're looking to refuel. Alright, one instant, one land, that's easy. And then between these sorceries, we do have a lot of selection in hand already, so probably another Show and Tell. Don't care about Guide of Souls. Take two. Don't care about the headliner either. No attack from our opponent. We're going to start on the Brainstorm here. And then I think we put back one Chrome Mox and maybe the island? Mana Drain? Here we can play out another Chrome Mox. Don't mind drawing into the other Mana Drain either, so we'll leave that on top and hold up Mana Drain for our opponent's turn. Don't care about the Sentinel at all. Opponent is being a bit salty here. They attack with everything. Let's see what they put the flying counter on. We're either going to block Raphael or Guide of Souls. Just comes down to where the counter goes. And they do put it on the guide. So we'll start there. Back up to 15, and I expect a concession. Forgot about that ability. So now we're digging for our other combo piece. And do we give them a card here? We could still show and tell afterwards. I think so. Yeah, we'll take another Atraxa. Doesn't matter what order we put this other stuff in. And then decline to shuffle. A Johnny will Mana Drain. That one can get out of hand by itself. You can use this floating mana. Play show and tell. We'll pay. Put in the new Atraxa. Artifact, Fey, Enchantment, Sorcery, and Land. Looks like we could probably win right here. Play out the other show and tell. Put in Omniscience. These are legendary. They don't see each other, so this is only 2 damage. And we can win with our sideboard combo again. Grab Second Sun. And we'll pull it out of the deck here. So we remain undefeated. All right, last match of the day. Let's see if we can go undefeated. And unfortunately, this hand looks pretty bad. We do have the forces though, and show and tell. I suppose we have 2 lands if we cycle Lorien. You know what? We'll give it a try. There is a lot of combo in the format. Looks like we're up against energy, maybe. And we can stock up right away here. Don't mind the Atraxa. And then do we take another Atraxa to refuel with? I think we do. Also gives us something to pitch to Force of Will if needed. Amp Raptor. We can just force this and then probably get rid of the stock up. Show and tell. Put in a Atraxa. Not the end of the world if this one gets removed. There is a static prison. So we're looking for another show and tell here. And we did find one. We'll take a land that doesn't hurt us. For creatures, say, let's see, what do we have? We have 4 cards in graveyard. Maybe 5 by next turn, so not enough to dig through time. We'll take the Brainstorm. And these are all going to go to the bottom, so I think we have to take Fae of Wishes, even though I'd rather have another Atraxa. We can play out the island, and then no need to Brainstorm right now. We'll get 1 card deeper next turn. And if we can keep our opponent from gaining energy, eventually we'll get this Atraxa back. So that might be the game plan as well. Gonna force this. And then, yeah, maybe we get rid of Fae of Wishes. I know we just sent one to the bottom. We'll just hold up Mana Drain and Force of Will here. Blowing through resources is not a big deal, because again, we're going to get the Atraxa back and refuel. Opponent shocks in. Now they're thinking about something. Johnny, we can Mana Drain. What's their last card? Nothing yet. Think we can use a Brainstorm here. Don't mind that at all. And then, let's see, probably don't need the Ancient Tomb in hand. And well, maybe put the Brainstorm back. Well, that's our forced pitch. So Brainstorm, Ponder. And we're going to be stocking up here. This will draw into these anyway, so the order doesn't matter. All right, there's Omniscience. Ponder. All right, and then we can just pass the turn. Still have Force of Will up. Getting our Atraxa back here. And since it's on our opponent's turn, it means we don't have to discard these cards either. So this one's probably over. We'll take Sink into Stupor, another Atraxa. Might as well take the Chrome Mox, Seagate. And we have a Show and Tell in hand already, so that's fine. And the island. I think it would be hard pressed for us to lose from here. Static Prison, that's fine. And then we'll just go to turn. Don't mind paying some life here. Put in Omniscience. And it's a Bowmaster. Take 1 from that. Then make sure let's just play out our land just to be safe. We can counter this on the way down. Imagine we see a concession here, and there it is. We were going to be able to shuffle our deck and eventually combo off through our sideboard here. Should have been no problem. All right, so there you have the deck. And while we went undefeated, in retrospect, I don't think we really played any blue decks. So you have to take this one with a grain of salt. Can't really say how powerful the deck is until we're going up against other Force of Wills, Dazes, etc. Especially as a combo deck. They really only have a few targets that they really need a hit of ours. So we might struggle in those matchups. That being said, the decks that we came up against today, I think we handled quite easily. There were a few longer matches, but again, I don't think we were ever in jeopardy of losing any of those games, or didn't feel that way at least. The cantrip package felt good. Mana Drain and Force of Will also did their job. And then we were able to win some games on the back of Omniscience, and even with Atraxa, as well as a fair, well, quote, fair creature plan. So yeah, the deck felt strong today, and I'm going to continue to play with it, see how it does against some Force of Will matchups, and maybe there'll be a round 2 with the same configuration coming in the future. Until then, I'd like to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content.